There is a must-read article or a series of articles in the LA Times this week. If you haven't read this is Pulitzer material for sure. It is a series of articles on used cars. And what better place to write that than here in Los Angeles,
Absolutely.
where we don't really have an effective public transportation system and everyone drives. But help me here, Richard, but the gist of it is if the focus is on something called buy here, pay here lots. And these are where people go in, they look at a car, and in some cases, or I'll use this as an example, it's a Mitsubishi with 100,000 miles on it. And if you have crappy credit, this dealership will offer you a loan on this car at about 30% interest. And they'll design a monthly schedule for you to pay on that car. And the payments could be around $500 a month or $399 a month on a Mitsubishi with, say, 100,000 miles on it, and let you drive off with that car, and you pay them each month. The moment you default on one of those payments, they entice you back to the lot, and they say, we're going to refinance your loan on this car since you can't afford it. And when you drive back in, they take your car, throw you out, and make you walk home. And then they sell that car again and again and again. Cars are being sold 4 and 5 times like this. But they are essentially loans, mortgages, well, not mortgages, they're car loans designed for people who can't afford them, these cars, and then they are deprived of the transportation that they were so provided for by these lots at the same time. So it's another one, it's like mortgage-backed securities, but with cars. Is that right?
Well, kind of. Yeah, I mean, think of it as a big system. There's a highly technical term for people who are involved in this business. They're referred to as assholes. And I don't want to get, but the deal is this.
Is that like Asshole Motors down on Wilshire?
Yes, Gus Camacho.
Love that.
Actually, Gus Camacho is a real deal.
I was looking at a car over there just the other day.
There was an
Incredible.
old Tex-Mex song, if you got the dinero, I've got the Camaro. But here's the deal. This is very closely related to, like the payday loan industry, where if you think of it as a big system, they marginalize certain people and make it difficult for them to get credit. And then they refer to them, the bankers will refer to them as the unbanked. And we want to help the unbanked, but with these like horrible loans that rip them off. They trap them in a cycle of debt. They exploit them. They've done studies that show that these kinds of auto loans, for example, these kinds of auto loans discriminate very heavily against black people. Mm-hmm. Black people pay much higher interest rates, and minorities of all races and ethnicities pay much higher interest rates than white males or white people in general. So there's a racist element to this, flat out, in the whole process. And there's a huge role for the big banks in this. These guys, they're underwritten by JP Morgan Chase or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. So what you have is a nice fat system where JP Morgan Chase, let's say, remember there was a period these banks were getting 0% loans from the Fed, or close to zero. Sometimes they get 1%, 2%, 3%.
Well, it just cracks me up too that if you have allegedly, if you have good credit as a consumer, you qualify for a 0% loan, no money down. Come and get this new Dodge truck, and you walk away with like a $300 payment on a brand new car.
Right.
But that's what we're sort of bombarded with every day, day in and day out. But the reality is that very few people have that perfect credit score to get those loans. But these are people who need basic transportation to get to their jobs that they're losing, and they're given a car they can't afford that is equipped with a low jack on it by the dealership so they can know where you are. They'll come to your office and take the car. Or they'll come to where you work and just take it out of the parking lot.
And bear in mind, this system is being funded by the same bankers and the same economic interests who are making sure that we cut spending on public transportation so that they have to get a car. So it's this very neat system of slavery. It's gotten so bad. They are absolutely ruthless people. They were exploiting soldiers, families in particular. So they were nestling or nesting, whatever you want to say it, around military bases in this country so that soldiers' families or active duty soldiers would go out and be ripped off by these people in exactly this way, because we so tragically underpay our military in this country because we can't afford it, because we have to give tax breaks to hedge fund managers. So these people then exploit the same people, by the way, then exploit the military and their families, so much so that Holly Petraeus, David Petraeus's wife, made it a personal issue for her to go after a payday loan, an auto loan, and these people who were exploiting military families because she was so outraged by this. So it's again, if you think of it as a big system, if you think of it as you've got these banks at the top holding all the resources, deciding who gets loans at what rate, holding back the money, sometimes just making money off Treasury Department, T-bills and so on, and then creating this system of sort of like indentured servitude, basically, where these people have to work for their debts, and if they don't, the car gets resold and resold and resold with no accountability for it, and they're outraged that there would be something like a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And in fact, 60 senators, including our own very liberal Barbara Boxer here in California, signed a letter saying that these auto dealers should be exempt from this.